to gyroscopeme.com, the hottest online radio station in the world. GS Radio all day, all night, worldwide. Powered by Gyroscope Media Group, LLC.
GS Radio, the best internet radio station worldwide. Providing the best in music and talk shows. Go to www.gsradionj.com and check out the best internet station in the world. You're listening to GS Radio Internet Radio Station powered by GMG, LLC.
In the beginning, there was Jack. And Jack had a groove, and after a while, a deep sleep fell upon him, and he went looking for a new groove. He began looking for a new nation, and it had to be a soulful nation. And he found it, and it was Soulful House Nation. And he saw a building. It was a tall building. It had 10 stories, and he entered the building and got on the elevator and pushed the 10th floor, but it stopped on the 8th floor. And that's where he found his new groove. And he began to jack and jack and jack and jack. And he knew that this was it. It was Soulful House Nation on the 8th floor. Get ready, get ready, get ready.
Get ready, get ready, get ready. Ladies and gentlemen, I am DJ Dan Soulful House Nation, coming to you live from the 8th floor. I am the unusual suspect. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we got another one. Today is going to be so good. Oh, my goodness. Well, anyway, you'll see. Hey, so let's just a quick recap. Last week was Memorial Day weekend, so we didn't really do anything on that day, but we did prior to that. We had another show with Guy Flash, so go back and check that out. That was a very good show. Also, too, want to tell you a couple things. According to, give you we're going to tell you what the number one song according to Track Source in the Soulful House category. I want to play that, a little snippet. We'll give you some updates. We're going to play an old school song. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play our special guest. We're going to have the song of the week. Oh, and what's exciting is about who's got some new music out. And then our special guest, ladies and gentlemen, is the one, the only, can't be imitated, can't be duplicated, not complicated. Well, it rhymes anyway. Millie Milz. So I'm super excited about this. So what we're going to do right now, we start off with a real quick thing here. We're going to play the number one song in the track source, in terms of track source, on the Soulful House side. The track is by Richard Earnshaw. He's made a lot of other good stuff too, and Justin Kaiser is on the vocals. It's called Always. So as usual, we're going to play a little snippet, and after that, we're going to cut it off because, you know, Facebook has this nasty, nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out. So, Chop, would you play a snippet? Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. DJ Dan, Soulful House Nation, coming to you live from the 8th floor. I am the unusual suspect. Hey, folks, just a few little updates that I have here. First of all, there's some new music that you should be checking for. Obviously, that new number one song by Richard Earnshaw is pretty hot. Local favorite, David Barber, and with the vocals by K-Lo, it's got a track called Nothing's Better, and I'm going to play that a little bit. You need to be checking on that. Aaron K. Gray has a track called Then and Now is out. And then I want you to check out, I got a couple tracks here I want you to check out. This is, I'm going to say Jambi, Ines Buru. It's the DJ Jeff remix is the one you want. It's Ayala. And then last but not least, Masters at Work, that's Louis Vega and Kenny Dope. They have a track called Organi. So we're going to play all those. We're going to play this music, and then we're checking for that music. We're going to play this stuff, too, in the Shazam Free Zone. Hey, listen to this. Next week I'm going to bring it on, but check out Sage Youngblood. Sage Youngblood has two new books out. And what I'm going to do next week, I'm going to bring them to you. So reach out to Sage and support her. You can do that a couple of ways. Number one, first of all, just let her know that you know about the books. But second of all, you can buy them on Amazon. Next week, I'm going to have some pictures and I've got some stuff like that you can see. But Sage Youngblood has some books out, and let's support her in the house music community. And finally, on this thing here, just want to give Chris Nelson a big shout out for his annual event on Saturday. Then I saw a couple other events over the weekend. Queen V had a fashion show. I saw it online. Hey, congratulations to her. That looks like, and I'm sure it came off well because, you know, that's what she does. Also, Eddie Nicholas was in Montclair and had another great event. So there was a lot of stuff. There was stuff in Commodore Barry, anyway. That was happening. And also, I just want to give a big shout out to Arnold Zalin. Arnold Zalin has really, really been putting in work. Look for him, Arnold Zalin. And then also, just want to give a big shout out to George Aiken. We didn't get a chance to talk about it last week because we weren't here. He was at the block party. He brought the Deep House magazine first annual award show, and he honored some people there. So it was really, really good. And, you know, again, I'm going to ask everybody to support that magazine because, so here's the difference. With this magazine, it really talks to our music. Now, there's other DJ music magazines out there, and there's the other house music magazines out there, but they really don't really check for soulful, Afro, gospel house. They're really more tech, EDM, trance, that kind. And nothing wrong with that. And every once in a while I do something soulful. But this one is dedicated strictly to our music, our style, and our community. So I'm asking everybody to support the magazine and also the efforts from George Aiken. By the way, next week our special guest will be George Aiken. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. Okay, so let's do this. Let's play the new track by David Barber and K-Lo. We're going to play a little snippet, and then we're going to get into our conversation with Millie Milz. All righty. So, Chuck, Nothing's Better. Play a little bit of it. Switch it up. Switch it up. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. It's okay. Let's go. Let's go with that. The old school track. The old school track. Of course, you know that's Bad Times, Captain Rat. All right, so I'm gonna fade it down because Facebook. They got this nasty little habit of shutting us down. Hey, listen, before we get started, I want to do two big acknowledgments, and that's Chuck Roberts, who did our opening drop. And you know him in the beginning, and it was Jack, and he did the whole thing, that a Chicago staple. And then also, I just want to acknowledge Ariel Shante and also King T Finesse for putting our theme song together. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am ready. Millie Milz, how you doing out there? Are you ready? Okay.
I'm ready. I'm here.
Okay. I think I'm a little low
here
on my end. Okay. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
A little bit louder.
A little louder.
Yeah,
okay,
you're good now. You're good now.
You want me to yell at you? I can yell at you.
Okay. We're good now. So, Millie Milz, first of all, thanks again for coming on the show. A while back we were talking, and I thought we had some good things to discuss. But, as usual, we always like to give the intro, have a little conversation around that, what's going on, and then we can get into the meat of things. So, Millie Milz, for the 3 people on the planet that don't know who you are, tell them a little bit about you.
Yeah, so Millie is my name. Millie Milz is my DJ name, Millie Milz Vega. I was born and raised in Perth Amboy, New Jersey. Come from a family of 6, very, I would say, music-infused family. We lived in a place where my mom created a music program, and all my siblings kind of picked up an instrument, except me. I picked up breakdancing. So carried a lot of cardboard in my day, and I think that's why my back and my bones are the way they are today. But that's a little bit about me as far as the music, and I'm an executive for a multimedia company. I've been with the company about 30 years. I mentor women there. I mentor women outside of work. So I have a serious passion for development and, just kind of pouring some knowledge and impart a little bit of my experience on others. So that's a little bit about me.
Okay. Now, you kind of mentioned how you got started with music. I guess your mom certainly was a big influence, and that's any other influences for you regarding music?
Yeah, for me, I would say influence was I heard different types of music growing up. So my sister was into Duran Duran, and then my brother played for a salsa band. So I would say major influence for me, I loved Hector Lavoe. growing up.
Okay.
Right. And then there was a band, there was a music teacher in school that was always trying to get me into music. She was an influence for me, you know, and trying to keep me out of trouble. So, but again, I loved breakdancing. Just dancing was my thing. And my brother David, he DJ'd, and I would kind of try to, you know, play on his equipment. I always broke his needles. I don't want to get into all that. He still resented me today about it. But yeah, and then you remember the big record player, big record player, Dan, right in the house.
Okay,
I was trying to scratch on there too, but okay.
See, Millie, I'm just gonna say I know about that kind of stuff from. Are you ready for this? Research. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, how did you get into house music? Because if you were dancing, then you probably were. I'm gonna say a B girl or that kind of stuff like that. How'd you get into it?
Yeah, I got into Latin house first.
Okay.
So back in the day, Louis Vega, the Latin house thing. You know. Esa Loca, I'm not going to say the rest of it because it's not real appropriate, but yeah. Those house beats, those were the first type of house beats. And then freestyle kind of like this merge between freestyle music and house music. I started to hear that. And La India, that made, one of your favorite jams. I know for sure. I've heard you play it. La India. And she really didn't do a lot, right? She didn't do a lot of house, but she's amazing. Yeah, so. Yep.
Yeah. So then you remember places like Fox's and then also there was a place in Fairview. Henry used to play there. I forgot the name of it. And also Animal used to there was another place.
Not in Fairview. I was from up north. So remember, I lived down south. So I was in Mingles and Route 35. Anyone that knows about Route 35, there was like a club on every mile or so. There was a different nightclub, and then Bon Jovi would come in there and play downstairs, and then upstairs we would play freestyle, hip hop, and a little bit of that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, how about so how did you make how did you connect with soulful house music especially when you were starting with these other styles of music, and what kind of caught you, or how was the evolution?
I have to say, I think disco was the first real introduction. So let me go back. I think disco. My sister used to hustle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she'd move all the furniture in the middle of the living room, and then her and her boyfriend and her friends, they would hustle in the living room. And so I watched her, do that. And so as house music started to come about, when I started hearing Gotta Have House Music and, Marshall Jefferson's and all that, I started to hear it, right? Because she was into disco, disco kind of died out. And then she started listening to house music. So I would say that's kind of my introduction to it in terms of hearing it, liking it, because I was really, as I said, I was into freestyle, hip hop. Grandmaster Flash was like my favorite album artist back in the day, right? So that was how I heard it, was through her.
Okay. Yep. Now, so I know you said you were a dancer. I mean, without breaking any bones, can you still do any of those moves?
I went into popping because it's safer.
Okay.
So, I kind of I pass it and then I, hopefully I get it back. But I can't. I can't. I do an up rock and I'm bad. My knees are bad for like a month. Yeah.
That's all right.
So I'm not going to lie.
It's amazing how time, right, goes.
Yeah.
Now, how about this? So, so most people listen, maybe they dance, but most people don't necessarily take it to DJing. So what caused you to DJ, and who were some of your DJ influences?
Yeah. So I started DJing because I think I told you this the last time we connected. I had a holiday party I was hosting for my job. And I had hired a DJ. And back then, I didn't know a lot of DJs. Like right now, I think I know thousands of DJs, right? So if somebody bangs out, like the other day when what happened at Wednesday night that you showed up at Dolce, right? Somebody could just hit you up and be like, "Hey, can you come down here?" Right? That's not what happened for me. So I hired a DJ, and at noon that day he told me, that's it, we can do it. And so I didn't know who else to call. And I had already been messing around with iPods. I had this thing called the Sony. It was a mix something. I forgot the name of it.
Okay.
But I was playing around with that, and then I said, well, what am I going to do? So I just went to Guitar Center and bought myself a Newmark mix deck. And I walk into the guy and I'm like, hey, can you give me a lesson on this? And he's like, yeah, come by Tuesday. I'm like, no, I have a party tonight. Like, I need to learn right now. And he was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, yeah. So, we got on there. He took me through it. And he's like, you're a natural. You're good. He's like, you must have been practicing. So I was like, yeah, a little bit. I'm Sony on the iPod. And so I go to my dad's house and pick up 2 speakers at his house. He has these Mackeys. They're heavier than me. I go pick some things up. He got stands. I'm like, Dad, I need your speaker. So that's kind of how I just jumped into it. Wow. And it was at Cafe Z, which actually I'm having my party at this month. But I'll talk about that later. And so I went in, and there was a guy that worked for me that knew how to DJ. He had played a little bit, but not on the Newmark. And he helped me out, and we had an amazing night. And the owner came up to me and was like, hey, can you start DJing here? I was like, does she even know that I'm a train wreck right now? I'm so nervous. I don't even know what I'm doing. So I learned on the fly and kind of picked it up from there, and I kept going. I just kept on practicing, and I liked it. And I was playing no soulful house yet. It was house music, but more of the commercial. Okay. As I mentioned, right? So Marshall Jefferson, Robin S., all of that stuff. But I did play some, and I played hip hop, or I played everything, all types of music. So I kind of got thrown into the fire, and I didn't know about beats per minute. I didn't know really what I was doing. I was just trying to figure it out. And I was like putting 89 beats with 124 and not matching, not knowing why it wasn't matching. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But I figured it out, and then later on, so to get to how I got into soulful house music was I kept playing for, I say probably 8 or 9 years. And I met Deuce Martinez.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And before I met Deuce, I met my mentor that passed away, Reggie, may he rest in peace. And he was a major house head. Like I'm talking about Frankie Knuckles. I remember when Frankie passed, like I thought his family member passed away. He was distraught. And we had planned an event to bring Frankie and Barbara Tucker and all this other, these other players in the industry to an event we were doing. And then he unfortunately didn't make it, and I was playing with him at Cafe Z. We had a ongoing event there. And that's kind of how I got introduced to it by him. And then he would give me songs and say, hey, I want you to play these. And I got into the house music, but I was still playing hip hop, R&B, Dan, because, I'm a mobile DJ. So I was, picking up gigs. I had a residency in Hoboken. So house music was not what they wanted to hear. I tried to play a track here and there, I blended in, but it wasn't their thing. So it was more medicinal.
Gotcha.
It was like, it was on a medicinal tip. It wasn't like, my heart and soul was into it.
Got you.
Because I couldn't do it when I wanted to, at the parties. So,
yeah, I know. I do a lot of open set stuff now, and maybe you can get a commercial one here and there, but they're not. It's a particular audience. Now, how about some of your favorite artists from, I know you mentioned Marshall Jefferson, but that's kind of everybody had to be into that. But how about some of your favorite artists?
So if I think back, artist-wise, I would say Marshall. I think he, had a vibe to him that it crossed barriers.
Oh, without a doubt.
Right, and Robin S. I think you could play it at any type of event. So they were artists that I enjoyed. Today, I love Aaron Gray. You mentioned him. I love him. I think I hope to see him on a really, really big stage, like continuing his career. His vocals are amazing. You know, some local artists. I'll be honest with you. I love a lot of our local artists. Like, you know, we got the Floetress. Like, she's amazing, right? So I think that you know, she has a style that's unique. You know, Coffee Page. I think. When I think about her, I just did a set on WBLS, and I literally picked her vocals to start my set. You know, she set it off. She set it off for me. So yeah, one of my, I would say favorites. She's up there with one of my favorites in terms of style and grit. I think there's a lot of grit there. You know. Yeah. And I like Billie Eilish. I know it's not soulful, but I do like Billie Eilish. You know, so yeah, those are some of the people I like today.
All right. So let me give a few shout outs here. Teresa Days, what's up? Nunu, what's up? Reggie, hey, how you doing? Hey, Bernie Grateful's in the house. Felix, what's up? Bruni, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. Then you've got Elvin's in the house and Ron's in the house. Woo! Look at all these great people. Oh, my goodness. Shelby, what's up? Enid, what's up? Woo! I'm telling you. Great people. Okay, now, we're going to start to go a little bit deeper and get your point of view here. So you've been in the game for a while. Actually, you've been in the game from the beginning. Where is soulful house music? Where is house music headed? What do you see?
Listen, I love that a lot of the youthful, like the younger kids, right, are out there, like Jordan and you know, Just and all these guys. I think they're taking it and running with it, and they're getting put on some, you know, some good tickets so that the world could start to really see this. And the last time you and I spoke, these kids were not doing that. They weren't at that level, right? And they're even doing their own, like they did this mashup last year with all, I think, I want to say, I don't want to say the wrong name, Trenton Mark.
Yeah,
what was his name?
Mark Gibson.
Mark Gibson, yeah. I thought that was incredible, right? He went out there, and I don't think that's a risk. People say, "Oh, we're taking a risk on you." That's not a risk. You know, we have to do that. I think if we stop being afraid to put different things together and see how they work out, we're not going to know. So where I see it going with our youth, it's a good start. Are we at the place where I think we should be? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think we can be so much further. And the onus is really on us, like us, that, you know, the ones that are in the industry, and allowing things because we want to be liked, or we want to be a part of a clique, or we don't want to be blackballed, or we don't. So a lot of times what I've experienced and seen is that voices aren't being heard that should be, and people that do have influence aren't using it the right way. You know, so that's where I'm at with it. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think there's opportunity. There's things we could be doing. And, you know, listen, you're not going to get rich in this industry. Not here. Not in what we're doing. Like the way we're doing it, the way it's being done, you know, it's very little coin that's being made. So why not produce something positive? Because when I went to Chris Nelson's event on Saturday, it was very clear to me that we're getting older. And, you know, we're getting older. And you know, there were a lot of people there, and at a lot of our events, people come to hear the music, to vibe. It's not all about dancing anymore for everybody. Like a lot of older folks that like house music, they love it. They love it, and they will take their wheelchair and go through the grass to get there. So we got to do better and making a path for that. And I won't get on my soapbox there because I feel like we don't do that. But as far as letting the youth come and take over, we have to bring them into the conversation. Let them be a part of the planning, right? All of that. And Dan, I don't know if I'm answering way too much.
Oh no, because no, this is
for me, man.
Yeah, no, this is. Let me just share just a couple. A couple things popped into my head. Unless you have some more that you want to speak on, you want to go further. If not, then I have a couple thoughts that popped into my head.
There's one thing I like to say. Look, there's a lot of amazing promoters out here in Jersey. These promoters put together some really good events, but there's too many on the same dates. So if promoters got together, could you imagine? Because not for nothing, it's like you're digging in your pocket and you're putting out all this money, and how much are you really making? If there was an opportunity to a couple of people get together and do some things, and again bring the youth in. If we got to start to bring the youth out if we're gonna keep soulful music alive. Like that is my opinion. I think if we bring them into the conversation. And also teach them that they have to pay their dues too. It's not you're just gonna walk in here and you're gonna take over overnight, and you like there's work to be done. Like they need to be picking up equipment, and they need to be learning how to do the things that you did. Like some of us, right? They need to learn the fruit of their labor. They need to be a part of that, because this is not a microwave thing. You come in and hit the microwave, and all of a sudden you're a top dog in the industry, right? So there's work to be done. And there's also a learning in that, and learning like what sound should sound like, right? Who you're working with, where do you put all your bankroll into if you're curating your own event, right? So some of these kids are going to be curating events. So are we really teaching them, and are they going to give up because it's so hard, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. Go ahead.
All right. I got some rapid fire questions here. Win Kosar, what's up? So, Moises, what's up? Okay, so listen to this, all right? We say we want to bring youth into the game, into the community, etc. So I have a two-part question here, because this popped in this as you were speaking, all right? Okay, now I don't want you to answer yet, but I just want you to listen for a minute, all right? And maybe, and by the way, the people in the chat room, hey, you're free to feel free to comment also. Now, we say we want to bring youth in, but if they bring all their friends, do we only want them to come to certain places? Do we only want them as entertainment? Just imagine you go to a club, and let's say you got to be 18 to be in, and grandma's in there. Grandma's not looking like grandma used to back in the day, and she's doing her thing, and she's shaking it and twerking or whatever. I mean, is grandma gonna be okay with that? Now, maybe she doesn't call herself grandma, because if she might be calling herself something else. We have like popular names like Glam Ma and things of that nature. So do we want them as entertainment, or do we want them to come into the environment, or just in certain places? Okay, that's the first part of it. Second thing, okay, as far as this goes with bringing, with the promoters getting together, okay, and then bringing in new people. Okay, so here's one of the big conversations, all right? So I call them, and I say it lovingly, the usual suspects. I mean, if we're honest, for the most part, you're not going to go too many events where you don't know who the DJs are. You don't know the talent. And if you've been following this for any period of time, it's going to be Billy Bob, Mary Jo, etc. It's going to be, they might shuffle the deck a little bit, maybe somebody new here and there, but for the most part, you know what you're getting. Now, to be fair, the usual suspects pull. In other words, if you have the usual suspects on your card, people are going to come out. And so it kind of takes away the incentive to bring in somebody that has the goods, but can they pull? Especially when you're spending money. So just from your perspective, just would like to cover that a little bit. Matter of fact, I even had a promoter say to me that I will never mention the promoter's name. I won't even say if it's a man or a woman. But this promoter said, I'm not into giving shots. I'm not into breaking new people. No. They come to me, they're well known, proven track record, or I don't want to hear it. I don't care if they're talented or not. What's your perspective on, number one, is it okay for Raheem or Jose or whatever to come to the club where grandma is getting it in, okay? And how do we break those new people in? And again, when you're spending money, you know, you want people that can pull. So anyway, maybe we can have those conversations for a minute. And then feel free to join in, folks.
Yeah, I'll go with the first one first. So the grandma twerking. So first of all, I really haven't seen a lot of grandmas twerking to soulful house music. So,
well, you know.
I brought my niece that was 9 years old. I've seen kids there at the events. You know, if it's an outdoor event, I think that's appropriate. Outdoor event, it's a park. You have family, people bring kids. You know, I think toddlers is difficult because they can be a distraction, and God forbid they get lost in the park and all of that. I think it's really okay. As far as the youth playing being just the entertainment at a bar, I think they have no business staying there after they entertain. I think that these kids need to go home once they entertain. You know, I go back to like the Jackson 5 and all these different kids that were in the club. They didn't stay back and chill at the bar. I mean, I think they did their thing. I don't know. I wasn't there. Okay. But I think it's appropriate for them to come and do their thing and go. Again, I prefer to see kids in a park playing. I don't know that I love, kids under 18 playing at bars where they serve liquor and all of that. I don't love it. But I get that it's part of the industry in terms of bringing them in to, grow and learn and play for a crowd and all of that. So, again, that's my answer to that. And I think, if you're at a club and a bar, you're going to see twerking and you're going to see a little bit more. And I think that's why I don't love the bar scene for minors. But again, that's to their parents' discretion and theirs to decide, if they want them there or not, to kind of each his own in terms of how they raise their kids or where they want their kids or not. That's really not my place to say it. But, I just think the parks and festivals and all of that it's more open. It's, I just kind of feel it's a little different. Okay. The second part about giving people a shot or not giving people a shot, I'm going to go back to each his own. Each promoter decides who they want to bring in, who they think they're going to give an opportunity to, where they want to put their money. Look, people are paying for venues. The venues are not trying to. They don't live on air. They need to make money. So your venue is one that's asking you to bring in a crowd to, drink, to provide, an entertainment that's going to bring in a certain type of crowd that's willing to spend money and not just drink out of their purse or, to go smoke weed outside. Like if you need to satisfy, you have a what we call a bar guarantee. For example, I've done boat rides where we have a bar guarantee, and if everybody's just bringing their own liquor on the boat, we're in trouble, right? That bar guarantee could be $12,000. It could be, it depends on what it is. So I think that all depends on that. As far as giving people a shot, I will have to say I've taken a lot of pride in that, and how, I've watched Deuce Martinez do it constantly. He's put people on that weren't at the top of their game that are now at the top of their game. I think there's ways to give people a shot. Like, so on the airwaves, when you have shows like such as D1 Music Radio, where we brought a lot of people through and now they've gone on to do other things. I think there's places for that. But again, if a person needs to draw a crowd and you don't have one yet, I could understand you not being the main event. However, if you are really good, I can see giving you an opportunity to maybe open up. Right? Maybe that one other promoter may be there and see you and say, hey, I think, you know what I mean? I got my eye on you. And then that person needs to keep investing in themselves. Stream. They should be streaming. They should be doing things to promote themselves, right? So Yeah, I'm not really upset at the promoter not giving the shot. I can't really be mad at them. I mean, I do venues as well, and I curate, and it's difficult when you don't if you don't make that bar guarantee.
Right.
So I think I understand it, right? It's not about, you're not going to give everybody a shot.
Right.
We can get into the whole woman conversation, which I think at some point you'll get into. That's a whole nother ballgame. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've had the conversation, and my attitude has always been, hey, you're spending your time, your energy, your money, and you got to make your judgment call for what you think is going to be the best, get you the best outcome, and you got to go with that. And then I say, for the people who get mad because they say, well, I've been in the business 150 years, and I was here when they didn't use record players, they used logs, and I should get a shot. And I say, well, hey, listen, hey, nobody's stopping you from doing your thing, So, and I know you're a Bible person and Holy Roller and everything, but somewhere it says in there, and I'm kind of like, I guess I'm trying to adjusting this to what we're saying here, but it's like, if you want to play, nobody's stopping you from playing, and your people will hear your voice. So that's, it's something like that. It wasn't like exactly like that said. I mean, you know better than I do about that kind of stuff. But, yeah, so that's always been my attitude. And, hey, and nobody's entitled to anything. You got to get in there and get it, and then if you get a break, then, hey, God bless you. If you don't get a break, then you still gotta do what you do. That's my position on it. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll give you a for example. I remember I did an event in Rahway, New Jersey. It was the first time we were doing this event in Rahway, and just the DJ was there, and I absolutely adore Justin. Justin is, everybody says nephew, etc. I absolutely have supported him from the beginning. I've had him on Be Wild, and I was playing. It was my set. I stepped back and I let him play. That was a shot. Okay? And so, those are moments that if it's right, and for me, soulful house music, that's what it's about. There's times in the library when Deuce Martinez and Adam Cruz were doing the library. And who would show up? All of a sudden, Carmen Brown is in the building, and she grabs the mic, right? That wasn't planned.
Right.
The best viral moments come when they're not planned. It just happens. And if it's the right moment, it could happen for you, right? So if you're not there, so maybe one of the lessons here for some of our folks is be there, be present, help out, ask to, carry some equipment. Wait for afterwards, have a conversation with the people that did the event, help out. I don't see that. I see people wanting a shot, but they don't want to do the work, right? They want to do DJ-ish, but they don't want to do DJ-ish.
Right.
It's like you want to be a DJ, but you don't want to do DJ stuff. Part of DJ stuff is not just showing up and twisting buttons and playing songs. That is not all it's about. There's more to it. And so what I would say is to people that have the shot, are there opportunities for you to bring somebody up that you believe in, that you were willing to take what they call a risk? If that moment is there, will you pull them on stage? Like I was with my dad and Patti LaBelle was singing at NJ Pack. She pulled my dad on stage and my dad sang with her. That's a moment. That is a moment. Like, he's an old dude now, right? So he didn't catapult his career. But my point is that do you have a moment to pull people on stage? And I will tell you, and I'm not going to name names. I said Justin. I love him. I just wanted to, but there are so many other people that I know I've pulled on stage. Needless to say, I won't say names, but I do it behind the scenes. I do it in public. It just, part of what I do to do the give back, pay it forward, right? It's not all the promoters. We want to say it's the promoters. It's not always the promoter. It's also the DJ.
Right.
It's the person playing on the stage, And people get caught up, a lot of times the DJ gets caught up in the emotion of the moment, right? And then there's no reciprocation back to, hey, how did you get started? Did someone take the risk on you? Did somebody give you a chance? Did somebody reach back to you and say, You know, I remember Dennis Gregory talking about when he played, he was working with Tony, he would always come early, and on one day somebody didn't show up and he played.
Okay.
That's a moment.
Right.
Is a moment, right? These are moments that happen. And all of a sudden, that person lights up and people notice who they are. And that's what it'll take sometimes. And this is soulful, spiritual music, right? That we're playing.
Wow. Well, you know, I mean, you just raised a lot of good points. And, hey, you know, I've said this many, many times, is that most people want the baby, but they don't want to go through the labor pains. And that's, and hey, and you really, you know, see, again, like, there's a gentleman that who I have this conversation with all the time. See, it goes like this. You might have the goods, but can you pull? Can you pull? And if you can't pull, you know, hey, I agree you have the goods, but, you know, I got dollar minimums to meet. I've got financial obligations. Most of these things are run out of Hip National Bank. And the more they don't come to the numbers,
I like that. I like that. Hip National Bank. Okay.
That's right. That's what happens. Let me ask you this question. So in your journey, name some DJs you've played with, anybody you want to play with, some places that you've played, maybe places you want to play, and how did you get the name Millie Milz? And tell us about that journey.
Yeah. DJs I play with, listen, I know other probably names too that I play with. The first person I'm going to mention is Deuce Martinez. Deuce Martinez. That man is something in this industry. He is incredible. He's been more than a mentor to me. I've watched him do things I've never seen anybody else do. He has a particular craft and way that he plays, and I absolutely love that I had a chance to start off my career here with him. So I have to pay homage there. I opened for Timmy Regisford, at Mr. East. Although I'm not going to say anything. All right. So that was an experience.
Okay.
Lord, as an insider, I have to keep it to myself. So that one, some other folks, I played with, I opened for The Chosen Few. Again, Deuce Martinez's birthday out in Florida. We were at the Miami Music Conference. So I opened up for them. Adam was amazing to play with. That guy, Adam Cruz's energy is unbelievable. And then another person I have to say I really enjoyed playing with was Hard Hit Harry.
Okay.
When he came to the block party, man, that guy, entertainer, soulful, he has it all. Like, he's just this package. Remember, he was the DJ for the Fugees. You know, so he's just, you need to have him on here.
Well, you know what? You're not going to believe this, but I just had a conversation last night about him.
Look at that. See? All moments in time, man. All moments in time. Yep.
No kidding. Last night.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Now.
And then the name Millie. Oh, wait. The name Millie Milz. So they used to call me Millie Mill. No Z at the end. When I was a break dancer. And so when I got into the music, I kind of surveyed my friends, and I was like, should I stay with Millie Milz? They was like, that's so old school. And then one of my friends, she was like, you dating yourself. She put a Z at the end of my name, and then just, you know, we stuck to Millie Milz, and that's what we worked with, you know, and that's the name.
Okay.
Yep. Simple.
Now, this is part of the $64,000 question. Now, you were a key person in the block party. That was a tremendous, like, you had to be there. You just had to be there. And, of course, the library, but we'll have to save that conversation for Deuce. But the block party, what, like, are you guys coming back? What's up? Talk to us. Yeah. That was like a tremendous success.
Yeah, no, like it was successful. A lot of hard work, man. It was every Friday. Deuce was, you know, in his uniform, running over, trying to set up, and then I'd come out of work, almost half a day every Friday. So it was kind of tough to keep that going on a whole nother year. It's tough when you need funding. You're kind of coming out of pocket for a lot. Deuce and I would look at each other at the end of the day with $5 in our pocket and be like, this was off the hook. We loved it. It was amazing. Like we would sometimes come out in the negative, right? But we just, the experience, and you talked about the funding, right? And talk about giving people a shot. Hi, baby, back there. Talk about giving people a shot. We were bringing in DJs, and there were people that folks would say, oh, that's a bedroom DJ. Oh, I don't know who that is. But you know what? People love them. They dance for them. And they, again, then now they have a shot, right? They're continuing to progress from there. And then we brought people from everywhere, right? We had folks come from Baltimore. A few other DJs from Baltimore came out. Spin, Exotic came out. We had Wayne from The Chosen Few came out, right? A lot of people. So are we coming back? I don't know. I think I saw you say Deuce, or somebody said Deuce's name on the check-in. The library, right? We got a couple of events coming up at the library. Music Radio. So not sure we do it to that scale. We talked about doing maybe a once a month, something similar. So stay tuned. We're looking at a location this week. I won't disclose any more than that because, unfortunately, things get stepped on around here sometimes when you share too much. But we're going to do something. And, and I would have to say that event definitely changed my life in terms of music. Like it helped me to see, what this, like, continue to always remember why I got into this, because if Deuce and I played 45 minutes every week, it was a lot. We barely played. We really put a lot of people on, and it was really about the community. You remember, when we think about the time and moment in time, we were just coming out of COVID then. Right. And people were depressed, right? I think alcoholism and drug addiction was at an all-time high. People were relapsing, and this community is very heavy in the recovery space. I'm not breaking people's anonymity because I'm not saying people's names, but there were a lot of people struggling, domestic violence, people just tired of looking at each other home, all day with COVID. And when we did the first one, we weren't sure if we were going to do it all summer, but it was clear to us that it was a need. And I felt like we filled a need. There was a major need in the community. And when people would come up to us and say, you're going to be here next week, we would look at each other and say, we have to, right? So we did it for the people. Like, it was always a crowd would go to Deuce, another crowd would come to me. It was, we brought people from New York. And it was just incredible. I met my friend Bernie, my sister there. Just so many people. I met so many amazing people that are still my friends today. And I'll tell you, the energy was always about the community. Right. We did not line our pockets with a cent. Deuce and I did. It was not about us lining our pockets. It was about us doing something for the community. And I think God shines his light on it because it was done with the right purpose. Not to say making money is a bad thing, because it's okay, but we did it with that intention. We lived, with purpose and intention, and, we did a lot, and we got a lot of friends, and, I know there's a lot of love for Deuce and I in the house music community, and, it's reciprocated. Believe me, we appreciate it.
So let me just, okay, we're not giving any secrets away here, but let me ask you one question. If you didn't have to come out of Hip National Bank and funding was in place, would that make a difference and/or your ability to, do this, and maybe even you had it in mind to do it on a even more grand scale? I mean, would that make a difference? Just wondering.
I think so. I think if we had the proper look, if Deuce and I could have, and I know we can, we just would need the sponsorship, but to just have the funding to get the equipment ready, and him and I came out on a Friday out of work, and we bring in all the artists and then go from there. Listen, Deuce has a Rolodex. I know I'm old school with my Rolodex, but Deuce knows everybody. Okay? And not everybody could do what Deuce Martinez does. I'm telling you, I don't care how deep your pockets are. He just has a way putting things together that I have not seen others do without having major funding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, others may do it without having major funding because they're screwing other people and they ain't paying them. That's a whole nother topic. You want to give people $100 and then you're making thousands. Like, that's not right.
Right.
But the way that he does it with the tenacity and the grit and the passion and has done it, it's something to be said. Like, that's the connect. That's the people love him. He does things for people and they do things for him. I've seen people fly out. We paid their flight. That's it. Didn't charge us a dime. Okay. Because on the strength of Deuce Martinez, period. That's what I've seen. That's all I'm saying. But we would need some funding for equipment. Like, people ain't going to keep flying around for free every week. I'm just saying.
They just can't.
But, you can't do it.
Right.
You can't do it, but you definitely need that. You think about NJ Pack, when we did NJ Pack, that was, I think, a historic event. We had, I don't know if the Deuce is still here, but there were, 15 artists from Robin S. to, freestyle artists. We had, George Lamons. We had, oh my goodness, I could go on and on. Brenda K. Starr. We had, right, these artists. That's not a simple ticket to put together.
Right.
Deuce Martinez did that. He did that. We did it together. It was our event, yes. But that man right there, he did that.
Speaking of Deuce, what's up, Deuce? Linda is hovering down over from Pittsburgh. Linda from Pittsburgh. Linda. She's no longer Linda Mendez. She's Linda from Pittsburgh. All right. Conway, what's up?
Hey,
David Rivera's in the house. Oh, my goodness. Francis is in the house. Oh, look at all these great people. Juan, what's up? Look at all these great people that came out to see you. All right.
Nice.
Okay, so.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's talk about your career. How and what does it take from a Millie Milz who's listening and had to go out to get a sting from Newmark and had to have the guy show it, how to work it, to, hey, you're this like real force in this community, Millie Milz. Bilal, what's up? Talk to us.
What it took, listen, I think there's things that are meant to be for people. I've realized that everything's not for me. I used to think that I needed to be, hey, why don't people put me here? Or, I'd be in these conversations about the, what's for me, what's not for me, and who should be here. And I could do what that person does. I think the key thing for me has been that I do what makes me feel like it's my purpose, period. And so I'll give you, for example, when COVID happened, I immediately started streaming like everybody else, but everybody was doing that. What I did different, and maybe other people did it too, but what I did that worked for me was I started collaborating with people because I didn't want to lose touch with people. And so I started meeting people like Get Loose. He passed away. May he rest in peace. He was producing stuff. I was producing over the phone with him, giving him feedback on his tracks. So I started learning about producing. I started learning my Set It Off Saturday show. I always featured X amount of DJs and then me. So I had a 6-hour slot. And so I was putting new DJs on. And so for me, it was really knowing kind of what I love to do. What was my niche here? What was my niche in this community was collaboration and getting to know people, right? And then besides that, females. I started to talk to a lot of female DJs. Like, hey, Femme Tribe came about. Myself, DJ Sassy, Nunu Rocks, all of that. So if I were to attribute what I call success here was that I feel successful because I am living in my purpose. I am finding what works for me. The other is I learned equipment. Instead of talking about how, I don't need a man to do this, I don't need a man to do that. Listen, I don't need a man for anything, but that's a whole nother topic. But, some women, we don't need, right, to have other people always do things for us. So I started to learn while I was streaming. A lot of, right, about kind of things like if you look at this box here, this, Scarlet, Box
Right.
how to stream, right? You people are streaming. It sounds horrible. Instead of me talking crap about, oh my God, Bernie, Sister Love, she sounds terrible. I'll call Sister Love. Hey, Sister Love, good set. Love what you were playing. Might I suggest something? Hey, you might want to get this. Hey, you might want to get that, and I'm just saying Sister Love because I saw her on earlier. You know what I'm saying? And there were people that taught me, like Jerome Oates. Hey, Jerome, I don't know how to put together the right. So it's really is the networking. My brother put a post up today around networking, how it's not what you know, it's who you know, and the networking. I would say network. And watch getting caught up in the negativity. I don't contribute to it. I'll talk like anybody else if I'm frustrated, if I'm gonna vent, and then I'm gonna move on. I have very short-term memory. I am not getting stuck on negativity. So really it's networking, learning the tools of the trade for myself. So if I do want to curate an event, I don't need somebody to come and put equipment on for me. Know your limits in terms of if you're curating, if you have a budget, know your budget. Have enough for sound. If I know I don't pick up heavy equipment, I know I can't do that. But I hire people to do it, or I have my own equipment and I'll hire somebody to come and help me.
Gotcha.
Right, with that, right? So it's just really knowing like my budget, knowing who the people, the players, and then what is the outcome? Like if I'm trying to put together an event, is really what am I trying to accomplish here? Am I doing a club event? Am I doing a house music event? Like what is it? Like, be specific and targeted on what I'm trying to get done. Yep.
Wow. And let's say so you really, I think the secret sauce then is networking, collaborating, learning equipment, putting yourself, keep showing up at places and things of that nature. If they're early, leave they're late. These are like some basic things. You know what? And I got to tell you, a lot of times it's who you know. Because think about this for a minute. You got two people that have the goods, and you got to make a decision. Who am I going to go with? Somebody I don't know or somebody I have a relationship with? I'm going to suggest to you that unless there's something that is not obvious, 9 out of 10 times you're going to go with somebody who has the goods and you have a relationship with. And again, you really can't do that from your bedroom. It's very, very tricky. Okay, so with that, one more question along these lines, and then we're going to get down to some more stuff here, a few more things. Like, let's say you say to yourself, oh, wait a minute, I'm this, I'm that, I heard that guy play, I could do the trick this, trick that, and he can't do that, she can't do that. Okay, so what, if that person is not getting put on, what do you suggest that person do?
Listen, music is about telling a story. And you need to know your story. What's your story? Who are you? What do you bring to the table? And so if you're going to somebody and you're not even packaged and you don't even know who you are, what are you talking about?
Right.
What are you talking about? Like who are you? What do you bring to the table? Okay, if I am going to talk about resume, besides me playing in my bedroom, what's outside of my bedroom? What are the things I've done? I played at this club. I brought in X amount of people. This is the genre that I played. I'm really good at this. I'm better at that. This is my thing. Hey, I have X amount of followers. Build your followership. Build your followership. You listen, I just won the DJ of the year for last year. And originally when they posted it up, when George put it up, because people always comment, people are always trolling and there's always people going to say something, right? And the first, I think the first couple days that it was out, it was out with that people could see who's voting for who. And then there was this percentage, right? And so I was high on the percentage of votes. But listen, my peers, their friends maybe have not seen the post yet,
Right.
So maybe they didn't get as many votes. But I saw things about, who's going to win? The popular one? I was like, okay, they coming for me already. So I was like, okay, so if you're not popular, you don't draw anybody.
Right.
And so if you think that doesn't matter, because I always hear this, I'm not going to brag about myself. Okay, then don't be your own fan. That's okay, because keep not bragging about yourself and keep playing in your bedroom then, because you got to have followership for people to come out.
Right.
You need to have on social media, listen, on Facebook, you can have up to 5,000 friends for free. You just go to your friends list, DJs friend their friends. If they're into music, if you see. And so build your social media presence. TikTok, also a free place. If you're a bedroom DJ and you're really good and you want to play out, go on TikTok. Get yourself 1,000 followers. That's all you need. And you start to go live there. I hear DJs on there that are a train wreck and they have 20, 30, 40,000 followers and they're getting paid to play music.
Right.
But you know what? They're having fun. And when I say train wreck, because the music is just like all over the place.
Got you.
But they're getting followership. And I guarantee you they'll get booked first before somebody that has 400 people on their page.
Right.
Right? Because when you promote a flyer and there's only 400 people seeing it, the chances are that maybe 4 are going to show up.
Right.
Okay? If you have 5,000 to 10,000 followers, then you have more people that are going to see you. Oh, hey, such and such has an event. Right? So that's my advice is promote yourself without any shame. I used to get flack about, I'm all about Millie, and I'm always Millie this, Millie that. If I'm not all about Millie, I don't know who's all about Millie then. If you're not all about Dan, then I don't know who's all about Dan. If you're, if you want to be out there. Now, if you're not trying to be out there, then stay in your lane and do what you do.
Got you.
But if other people are doing it, let them do it. Like, encourage them to do it instead of saying, you're all about you.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I got to tell you something. It's funny you should say that. Hey, don't be silly, Billy. Oh, wait a minute. Hold it. Wait a minute. Did you hear that, Millie? Don't be silly, Billy. Wait a minute. I should be a rapper. What am I doing here?
Oh, my goodness.
What am I doing here with this house music thing? Anyway. But you raise a good point. If you look, people can say what they want. But, okay, so, I mean, a couple things, all right? Number one is that, obviously, everybody heard about Muhammad Ali. There's no way. You'd have to be on another planet. And there was a wrestler from back in the day called Gorgeous George. And you can find this in some interviews that Muhammad Ali did. And he says, Gorgeous George came to him saying, he says, you got to talk a lot of trash. You got to tell them how beautiful you are, all that kind of stuff, and that's how you get people at the gate. So he took that up on it, and he would, you remember how who said Muhammad Ali was the greatest? I mean, he did, right? And he started getting, and some people came because they wanted to see him get beat, but they paid and they came. And to your point, hey, I guess when you're trying to really make it happen, this is not the time to be shame and bashful. This is the time to talk slick talk. That's the time to talk slick talk, huh?
Listen, think about Funk Flex. He's a troublemaker. He's a troublemaker, but that's his way of getting. People can't stand him, but they listen to him. You look at him; he's booked every weekend 2 and 3 times, right? I mean, I look at Frankie Cutlass, freestyle artist, right?
Yes.
DJ. He did the Puerto Rico song.
Yes.
He goes on there and he just talks about it. I mean, everybody has a style. He goes live and he has thousands of people, and he's just having a conversation about sneakers. Like, come on, there's an art to this. There's what's your niche? What are you good at? And like I said, I think. When I used to go live, I'm always, I talk on the mic and I try to, keep people entertained. And I really did it to break the algorithm so that Facebook wouldn't cut me off. So I started talking and it became a niche for me. Like people enjoy it. People, listen, the sweetest sound to everybody is their name.
Yes.
Everybody. I learned that to Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie.
Ago, right? And people love to hear, hey, shout out to, they want to know that you're there. That it's not a mix. It's not a pre-recorded mix. And so if you just grab the mic and just say hi to the people in the room, they feel like you're talking to them. She's listening, right? She knows I'm here and we're together.
Get these jewels. David Barber is in the house. David, we're going to play your track. That's coming up. David Barber's got this track called "Nothing's Better" where Kalo is on the vocals, and we're gonna open that up when we do the Shazam Free Zone. That's nice. Lyrian, what's up? Okay. Let's see who else is in here. Sharonda, how you doing? Okay, work with me on this. I'm gonna go with Biggie De Jesus. Did I get that? Probably got De Jesus right, but Biggie. Okay, I'm gonna go with that. Thanks for joining us. Okay, now we're coming down to the wire here. You're a lady in the business, all right, and if we're honest, we don't see. Put it this way. There's not the proportion of ladies that are available compared to guys. My question to you is, are there any things ladies have to do versus guys getting on? And are any challenges that you had to overcome being a lady? And so what?
Okay. This is a very interesting, sticky topic, and it's. I think there's so many different thoughts on this one, and I think certain women that feel certain ways. I don't agree all the time. I think it shouldn't be a gender thing because music is not gender. It's not a gender. Right. Music is universal. Mm-hmm. I think the person that should be on the ticket should just fit the ticket. Interesting. That's what I think. I think it shouldn't be okay. We got to have one girl. This is not a softball game. That's what it called co-ed, where you got to have one girl play and then all the guys. Like when you have these co-ed, it doesn't work like that. Mm-hmm. To me, is if you fit the ticket, it meaning. I'll give you an example. Listen, Nuno Rocks, an amazing Afro house DJ. Period. 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 If I'm doing an Afro house event, I'm looking at Nunu, I'm looking at Ceres, there's certain Afro DJs. Mm-hmm. I just think they bring it. They bring this certain thing. If it fits, then I'm going to bring, and it might be Nunu, it might be Spirits in Motion. It may be, I may have more girls than guys. Like it just, and when we did the block party, going back to that, we did an all-female lineup because we had Femme Tribe and Spirits in Motion together. So we were kind of promoting that. Mm-hmm. But there were times where Select came in, she fit that ticket. We had her and we had Sven. We thought that was a good fit. Mm-hmm. So it was just about the fit. It wasn't about, no girl Sassy came in, so it's really about, do they fit the bill? Mm-hmm. And if they have a following, I don't think the promoter's taking a risk. If they mesh well with that ticket. And here's the other thing for you promoters. Start looking at your demographics. Listen, it's free. Go on the internet. Search your demographics. If it's a Hispanic community, maybe you want to have a Hispanic DJ, whether female or male. But think about your demographics, because if you're trying to bring in different people than the normal, regular, people that you always get, do your demographic search and look at that particular area. One thing Deuce and I always talk about is let's get a local DJ from this town. If we are playing in a town, we look up, hey, who are the local DJs, and we'll bring them in. We need to, if you got to draw a crowd for the establishment. So you really, got to look at that. There are a lot of, listen to me, and I was talking to, I'm not going to put him out there, but myself and a promoter from another state were talking. He called me one day and we talked about the same people. He and I talked about, he's tired of seeing the same men, no women, and, and we are people of color, all of us, like we are people of color, and not seeing, people of color or women. And was kind of venting to me about it. And we spoke about it, and he has some very valid points. He's like, there's many, 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 many men. Where's the diversity? Like, why there's more women in the club than men? And, hey. So there's a little of that vibe going on. But again, I think I have my mindset is, if they fit the ticket. And I think us women have to stop allowing ourselves to be put in this, you can only DJ with female box. Like I've turned down gigs. I'm not doing it. I don't fit. I'm like, why am I being asked to do this? Because I'm a female or because I fit what you're doing here? Like, and then I look at the layout and I'm like, yeah, I don't even That doesn't fit me at all. I'm not doing it.
The sound changed. I don't know if it's coming from us or from you. The sound changed a little bit.
1 2 1 2 1 2. Mic check.
Yeah. So okay, you sound okay now. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just me. All right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So Dan, I'm gonna give just a couple pearls, if I could clutch my pearls for a second. A couple pearls of wisdom to my up and coming and even DJs, female DJs. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You're a human being, man.
Mm-hmm.
You're a human being first.
Mm-hmm.
If a person does not put you on a bill, it's their loss. Create your own. Create your own. Get together, and if you want to do it based on a resentment and you want to create an event because you have a resentment, sometimes the best things come from a resentment.
Right.
You know, pain is a motivator. If you are feeling the pain and the burn and the hurt because you feel left out, then get together with some other, but don't do it on the strength of being a man hater and being mad, because the guys ain't gonna come out.
Right.
You know, you gotta watch how you're putting out what you want to do. It needs to be in good spirit, and you know, I just believe in God to the point where I'm gonna pray on whatever I do before I do it. I'm not gonna do it, and then it's gonna just be a train wreck, and then I don't get what I you know, it ends up being 4 people there: my aunt, my cousin, and my friend, you know, and my girlfriend. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's really not where it's at, because then it'll be, you're proving the men right that you don't have a following, that the women can't do it.
Right.
You know, collaborate with good men that do support women, and like I have to say, I keep mentioning Deuce. I am so blessed that since I started this in this industry, I had a man that believed in me and put my name next to his. It was Deuce and Millie Milz, or Millie Milz and Deuce Martinez. There was never an ego. Okay, there are men out there like Dan. There are men out there. There are more men out there like Lenrick that I just saw him come in. There are men that want to do things, that will support you, because they too are being overlooked. They too are not. They also feel that, you know, hey, I would like to do something, or they just want to do something. It's not even about a resentment. So just be careful and cautious in doing it that way, because it'll blow up in your face. You know, do it with good intention, do it with purpose, do it because you love what you're doing. Because what's the point when we're not here anymore? You think people are going to talk about, hey, that Millie Milz put on some great events? Like, you know, people are going to remember how you made them feel. They're not going to remember what you did for them. You know, and so, so do it with intention, and because you love it, because it's going to give you something. Because when it's all said and done, you're going to bust your hump and do all these events, and other people will take credit for what you did. You know, they will sit back behind the scenes and they will take credit, and you will get nothing from it. They will walk away like they're the man, and you did absolutely nothing.
Right. Interesting. I have a few more questions, and then we're gonna come in for a soft landing. The problem with having a conversation with you, Millie Milz, is that we could talk forever. Okay, so wait a minute. Now, you mentioned Hector Lavoe, and obviously you come out of a Latin background. Do you get a chance to infuse the Latin influence in your music, either by cuts you play, style you play, people you bring out, et cetera, like that?
Yeah, I would say so, because like when I got into Afro beats, I started listening to like songs that had Celia Cruz and Hector Lavoe in them, and so I find myself now taking beats that don't have their voices on it, and I'm meshing them together. And I did a production with Isabela Pantosa. She's I want to say she's Peruvian. And I took her vocals and I put it over Afrobeat, and I absolutely love it. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing. And so when you hear me play out, you'll hear that. And when I do my shows, sometimes I'll test it out with the Set It Off crew, and I'll ask them, you know, is it a yes or a no? And they'll tell me the truth. They'll be like, ooh, what's that? You know, or hey, you know, that's really good. You know? So I tend to mix that up a little bit. And I also take freestyle vocals. I know they're not Latin quote unquote singers, but you'll have like a Judy Torres, or some of these other, right? And so their vocals sound a little more on the Latin side. You know, La India, I like her vocals on other songs, not just house tracks. And I think that helps me. And then there's when I play English music, I'll take some reggaeton and reggae and mix that together, right? So then because I know all the genres, I think it gives me, if I were to say, a little leverage in terms of knowing that. Yeah.
Got you. Wow. Okay. I want to talk about what can we look. So you are producing then, and we can look for some stuff from you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now here's my question: would you share it?
Yes, I will.
Okay, so
I'll share this one track. I'll send it over to you. So maybe you can play it for the crowd and see if they enjoy it here. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Stan Johnson, what's up? Kevin Chillis, what's up? Annette, how you doing? Lenrick is in the house. Oh my goodness, look at this. Okay, so you got a lot of stuff coming. Talk to us about all the different things. You just won an award, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What can we expect from Millie Milz going forward?
Yeah, first of all, my birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday to me. Yep, shout out to my baby for taking me out and the beautiful gifts. So thank you. I love you, Booney. And also for, I just came back from vacation with my mom and my cousin Josie. So we had a great time. And then I received the award for DJ of the Year from Soulful House magazine.
Deep House.
Deep House magazine, not Soulful. I'm on the Soulful show.
That's okay. We're good.
While I was in Puerto Rico, so that was like a birthday present, right? And then I got another call from Capitol House Music. They're doing in DC for me to join their event out there. So that was another present. So in August, you'll see me out in DC. Tandra, shout out to you. And what else do I have going? So for my birthday, the reason why I mentioned my birthday is on the 21st of June. I'll have a life party over in Cafe Z. I love that spot. Very deeply rooted for me. Deuce will be one of the DJs for me. DJ Sister Love, Tony Green. And then we're doing a tribute to a friend of mine that passed away, Crystal. So we're going to have a party with a purpose. We'll have a little tribute to her. She was one of the people that used to come out and be a part of my nights when I used to have parties there at Cafe Z. So may she rest in peace. On June 23rd, I'm in for a Rockaway for the summer series with Tommy T, Cary Grant, Love House, and it's brought to you by Blake the Snake. And then I have a residency once a month over at Jama Grill with Sean Lover. I brought him along with me, open format. DJ Chillax came through. We had Cool Kurt, Doughboy. I have a few other surprises coming up. And then the station. So DY Music Radio, I'm on every Saturday from 10 a.m. To 2. And then we have the, Zanzibar tribute there on June 14th at the North Public Library with Hippie Torellis, Tony Humphreys, Coffee Page, the Floetress. It should be amazing. Deuce Martinez curating. Again, Martin G is a part of it as well. So lots going on. And then, as I mentioned, Deuce and I are working on some things behind the scenes. So stay tuned. And he has the wildest station on the planet. So he always throws a little twist in what we do. I sometimes don't even know until it happens. That's all I'm saying.
Wow. So, hey, listen, we're way past the why, but that's okay when I'm having a conversation with you. Any final thoughts or anything that you would like to share, highlight? And then if people want to reach you, support you, how do they do it?
Sure. Well, first, I want to just say thank you for all the birthday shout outs from everybody. I haven't had a chance to respond. I want to just say thank you to my family and my friends for always supporting me, and give a special shout out to Miss Thompson, which is my mentor, Reggie, Brenda Thompson, for, just bringing him into the world. Like God, really, he raised an incredible man that made me fall in love with music on another level. So I definitely want to pay homage to him. And then I just want to say, look, I sit back and I see the Soulful House community, healing. I still try to find the good in some of the things that may not always land or resonate well with people. I think folks are like, there's a lot of hurt people in the community. There's a lot of people hurting. There's a lot happening in the world. I just ask us all of us that have the influence, like these bigger name DJs and these promoters and producers and people that are out there, is just to remember that when you do things in the spirit of love, all good things happen. When we use people and we do things with bad intention, it just adds to the hurt and pain. And depression is real. We have too many people committing suicide. We have a lot of substance abuse out there. People preying on other people, whether it's to leverage them, to use them to do things, and then not compensating them. Like, really dig deep and stop doing that already. Like, really, stop taking advantage of people, of their talent and their willingness to do anything for you because you have a name. I think we really need to respect one another and, break bread. Because you may give somebody $150, but that other $50 or $100 you may have given them may have been the difference between them eating or not. People are struggling. Like, people are struggling out here. So let's break bread. Let's be mindful and respect one another's craft and what we bring to the table, right? And so if someone's providing a service, pay them for the service. And then the last thing I'll say is that also be mindful of the influence we have. A lot of us, like what we're saying on social media. I've seen posts lately about, people shouldn't do this or do that. Who are you to tell people what to play or not to play, or what, people will play or do what makes them feel good. And, a lot of times, you see people jumping on the bandwagon. Oh, you go ahead, child. Go ahead, honey child. That's great. Thank you. You say that, whatever. And what you're doing is that you're bullying online. We bullying online. Like it's like, call people, pick up the phone and call somebody and tell them, hey, listen, this is kind of what I see. And that's just a form of trying to get followership and likes, and so at the expense of somebody else. So I know I'm saying a lot, but without giving names and everything, but there's so much subliminal crap happening on social media. But those that have influence, know your place and take it. Know your place and take it, and be influential in a positive way, and give people love if you want love back. If you don't give it, you don't deserve it.
Right. It just sparked one more thought in my mind, and you could, tell us how we can keep up with you. But you also do volunteer work. You're always looking. You're into community outreach. And I know, for example, you've done different events and things where you did it on a volunteer basis. Can you just share some of those interests, just so we have that and just so we could be aware of that? And then we'll really, really close it out then. How about that?
Yeah, I actually been trying to join a board, and this guy named Dan Shiver and I are supposed to talk about that one, but I'll talk to him some other time.
I got several.
Yeah. So I am a part of, and I appreciate you. I remember we had, we met offline and all that. That was fantastic. But I do it mostly at my job. So I lead a group called Unidos, which means United in English. And our main purpose is to help people that are disproportionate in terms of financial income, not knowing how to leverage, themselves, their talent, learning how to learn different crafts, take on different studies and things to elevate themselves so that they can get promoted and get other opportunities. And in addition to that is to really help build self-esteem, because, my hair doesn't need to be straight for me to go to work. Like, that's a simple one, right? Like, so I don't have to look like certain people for me to progress. And so we spend a lot of time helping people build their brand and know their superpower. Like, what are you great at? What do you bring to the table again? Right. And so that's what it's about. And then we do community outreach. Like, we'll go out and beautify like a neighborhood and a underserved community. Maybe go out there and paint a school or fix a backyard or put some vegetables out there in communities where there's elderly people and things like that.
Fantastic. Hey, if people want to follow you, keep up with you, support you, how do they do it?
So right here, Facebook, DJ Millie Milz or Millie Milz Vega. Same thing for TikTok and Instagram, DJ Millie Milz on Instagram and TikTok. If you want to have me go out and entertain at one of your events, DJ Millie Milz at Yahoo is my email, and happy to come out and entertain. We provide services from soup to nuts. You think about it: stages, lights, dance in the cloud, you name it. We can do it. So. Photo booths, 360s, the whole shebang.
Fantastic. Millie, I feel like you've been debriefed.
Yes.
I don't know if you have anything left at this point. No, but we can talk for hours.
I just looked at the time. I'm like, oh my goodness, it went so over. Okay. Well, listen, I took the day off. I wanted to be here with you today, Dan. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
This was fun. I really appreciate it.
Hey, listen.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. And folks, I got to tell you, you need to go over this interview a couple of times because there's so many jewels in here. Hey, listen, next we're going to do the Shazam Free Zone. We're going to lead off with the new track. The new track by David Barber and K-Lo on the vocals. George Aiken, Deep House Magazine, will be our...
Hold up.
Okay.
I did not know. Is George still in here?
I think he is.
In here.
Yeah, I think he is.
Listen, I have to say this.
Go ahead.
George, thank you. Thank you for recognizing what other people weren't. Thank you for doing it selflessly. Thank you for all the work that you and your team put together. Thank you for staying genuine and true to what house music is about, regardless of the politics. Whether I won or not, this is not about this because George and I have had these conversations. Thank you for taking the time to recognize people. And if anybody doesn't like the way George did it and how they did it in the magazine, you have free run to do it yourself. So, thank you, George. Thank you so much. I applaud you. Thank you to your wife for supporting you because this is a lot that you put into this. I know you have sleepless nights. I know that there's days that maybe you should be with her and you're not. So thank you to her as well for supporting you.
Hey, yep. And, hey, I'm super excited. Next week, we have George Aiken on, and we're going to talk about what he's doing. We're going to talk about Deep House Magazine. Again, I'm going to say to you that everybody in our community should be on that because this is information. This is conversation about people in our actual community that play and live and dance the style of music that we play. And I got to tell you, I work with George, and I got to tell you, it's a Herculean job. I mean, times 100. And just trying to keep track of the details, trying to keep track of the work, and then, hey, listen, personnel change. I mean, just keeping all that, but staying steady and maintaining the attitude that, hey, listen, this is going to pop. It's going to be bigger and bigger, and having the vision. So, hey, and when he decided to do that, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to move on. But, I personally have thought about it and tried it a couple times, just never got anything on the ground. But, see, he actually got it off the ground. And so anyway, so when I had the opportunity to work with him, I was on it. George, thank you. We'll see George next week, and we're going to have that conversation. Millie Milz. Listen, my pleasure. Always a pleasure.
So
always a pleasure.
Thank you, George.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Dan. You and the team. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, folks, that's it for now on this side of things. We're going to go into the Shazam Free Zone. And in the Shazam Free Zone, we only play music that hasn't been played. We play brand new music. Of course, I know all the regular songs, the hits, but at some point, every hot song was played by somebody before it was not hot. So we'll get a chance to see if you want to, you can, okay, wait a minute. You want to jive with the vibe? I'm telling you, Millie Milz, I'm in the wrong business. I should be a rapper. I'm telling you, man. This sounds like a 10-album deal to me. Anyway.
Let's go.
Hey, Millie, thank you so much again for coming out and hanging out with us. Again, we're going to start off, we're going to play Nothing's Better by David Barber with K-Lo on the vocals. Hey, Chalk, you want to start that track? All right, ladies and gentlemen, DJ Dan, Soulful House Nation, coming to you live from the 8th floor. I am the unusual suspect. Get ready, get ready, get ready. This is called Nothing.